It's been all my life that I have painted and written, but since I met the Lord in 1970 and came here before Jom Kippur, 1973, it's been a burning desire. So when I became a believer, I put away my art because I thought God has no use of this kind. And I went to help the alcoholics in town. I preached in the bus coming from the city where I had become a believer. And it was all very direct interaction with people where I thought love did not have a place. And then I saw the Jesus people in the 70s come from America, play with their guitars and use their talents for God. And I realized that I'll take out my brushes and things that was thrown in the cupboard, so to speak. And I'm sure there are changes, of course, because I have never done art just for its own self ever since I met the Lord. I've been very aware of it being a tool, of it being a channel. Because Christians usually don't represent the human love. They avoid to represent it in art. And I have kept through all my years that God has designed the love covenant between a man and a woman, and how beautiful it is, and how it is a mystery to represent God's love for us. So my art has kept this touch. Because I have heard, and that is my reward more than anything, that I received so much healing through this book, or I received so much healing. So when I hear this, you know, I can agree with the accuser in my weaknesses, on my own personality, or this and that. But when I feel really rewarded is when I hear this word, that people receive healing through what they see or what they read. Or that there is some purity in the pictures, or that there is something in the text that they have not been able to put words to from their own heart, that I've been able to help them put words to something that they go through, or direct them. This is how I directed my wounded heart. And this is how, that you become, at best, a mentor, or you know, like a beggar that found the bread, that he comes out and shares it with the rest who's maybe still begging or still wounded. But beauty and God's comforting words, God restores the brokenhearted, and He's close to the brokenhearted. So if you create out of being close to Him and being a channel for Him, then art is not just meaningless, not just something you hang on the wall or something that you look at. God had it as a part of His program to beautify the temple, and He gave a certain wisdom to Bezalel, to those that were to beautify and to make meaning, and without overdoing it, without putting attraction to ourselves, whether it is painting, dancing, music. You always have to, you know how you present it, and be sure that it's drawn from God's Spirit. Then yes, it can be healing, it can be inspiring, and it can add to our difficult journeys here, our dusty roads that we walk on. And I know that with art you can get by to say truth. And not only with art, but you also have to have enough love for people. That if you love enough, you can say very difficult truth, and you can have the integrity of your heart that, well, this is what I believe, and this is what the scriptures say this, and I choose to take this, and I choose to put images and text together, and that's how I have lived and find my life meaningful. But I think that Jerusalem represents the suffering that the Lord had here and the resurrection that he had here. And you can't avoid, it's like two sides. If we had our choice, we would only have the joy of the resurrection. And that power resides in us. But that's not where we always are. And there is a lot of oppression and heaviness in Jerusalem that you have to be ready to face. I only know that when I have been in very great suffering, and I did 26 calendars, I think it was, it became year after year, and 93, Eliel, my son, died, and I noticed that the paintings that I did then had so much grief in the eyes, so much grief. And it's not so unusual, I think, that you take what is inside. Often people ask, is this self-portraits? I've never done one except one at school in Los Angeles or New York, I don't remember which of the schools. Never have I portraited myself, ever, never such desire even. But people think that it's me in the pictures everywhere. And I say, it's just how it is that every artist does self-portraits, which means we take from what we have inside. And even my children, Eliel, who died before he was born, whenever I painted children, they happen to look like my children. What you have inside will be something of you in children, but it is also something of you in the art. Whatever you write, whatever you paint, they kind of become your children. It's something, your heart produces something. And then that's why I think it's also so important that an artist knows who is the inspirer. Is it the God of the Bible? Is it the Holy One? Or is it other energies? God says, you shall not have other gods beside me. And I think musicians and artists and dancers, all the creative arts have a choice and are not always aware of whom they become a channel of. And that's why it looks so different. And that's why it can produce such different results when people open up to it. I think because you're able to fly so high and be on such mountain tops, and you need to be there, you need not to seek to cut them off, because you need to be very close to God when you're going to create something from Him and be, the best of channel. You need to be there. But to keep it, I've not been able to. I've always think, I will always be able to keep this, but I haven't been able to keep it. Artists have this of more easily tipping over or losing the balance, I think. And does it belong to the artist's life? We read about it or we hear about it. I have experienced it. So what can I say? I have not wished it. I have gone through it. And when you are on the down, you're very ashamed of it. When you are on the up, sometimes other people envy you and they feel compared and don't like it. But it probably belongs to the artist's life. I would say to the people who desire to be an artist that if they connect first of all, with the Creator, so that they know that when they create, there is something that they'll be channeled and they have a purpose. Then I think they'll come through also because they'll be sustained by Him. They'll be protected by Him in those deep valleys. They'll be provided by Him. I think not everyone is meant to be an artist. Not everyone has the sensitivities, which also has the big price, like I said, and some might be able to combine the desire of being an artist with something very practical, and you know, everyone has to seek that out. But to keep the balance of life and to have the high purpose, to find and be motivated by love, to stay humble, be motivated by love, and trust only in God.